Eldorado, or Eldorado, is a small town in the Hume region of the northeast of Victoria, Australia, in the Wangaratta LGA. At the 2016 census, Eldorado had a population of 264, down from a population of 287 at the time of the 2006 census.
In 1840, long before gold was discovered, settler and former Royal Navy man, Captain William Fury Baker, named his holding of rich green pastures along Reedy Creek, Eldorado. Here, Baker had found his utopia, his pot of gold, and the means to a rich life. Little did he know that hidden beyond the boundary of his property lay vast wealth with several floors of alluvial gold and tin, and that the miners to come would adopt the name Eldorado for the town. Eldorado is nestled on the banks of Reedy Creek, downstream from historic Beechworth at the end of the Woolshed Valley. A natural amphitheatre housing an abundance of flora and fauna opens to the vast flat farmlands that were once swamps and wetlands. A short distance west is the rural city of Wangaratta, to the south the renowned Milawa Gourmet region, and to the north the famous wine region of Rutherglen. The Eldorado Museum holds an interesting and diverse collection reflecting the life and times of the region from 1850s to the 1950s. Displays of mining, farming and social history of Eldorado and surrounds are housed in the old school building, along with a number of farming implements and outdoor displays. The Eldorado dredge squats like a huge metal monster on a lake of its own making near Reedy Creek. Its engines are dead and its body is slowly rotting away, but its sheer size is amazing. The dredge is an incongruous relic of the days when men would go to any lengths to rip precious metals out of the earth. The gold seekers came to Eldorado in the 1850s, working their way downstream from Beechworth, looking for the gold in the deep leads, the ancient, gold-bearing watercourses that, over long periods of time, became buried deep underground. Digging down to the deep leads was a costly, dangerous and heartbreaking experience. It often involved pumping out huge quantities of water to get to the gold. There was a disaster at Eldorado in 1895 when a mine flooded and 6 men were killed. There were 3 main methods of gold mining at Eldorado: deep lead, open cut and dredging. The dredges were like gold panning factories, digging out the creek beds, flushing the material through a series of large sieves, washing away the rubbish and catching the sediment of heavier gold. In the early 1930s, the price of gold increased dramatically. This was a strong incentive to mine some of the deeply buried gold, and the 1934 Cox Eldorado Dredge Company was formed to work some of the local mine leases. A state-of-the-art, electrically powered dredge was commissioned from Thompson's Engineering and Pipe Company in Castlemaine, a company that still exists. The mighty machine was assembled on site and was ready in June 1936. At that time, it was the largest dredge ever constructed in Australia. It was 64 meters long, 20 meters wide at the stern and 50 meters wide at the bow. It had 118 closely connected buckets on a conveyor belt. Each bucket weighed 1.4 tons and carried 1/3 of a cubic meter of earth. The whole dredge weighed 1,880 tons and required 900 horsepower to operate, using 14 motors of varying capacity. The sound could be heard for more than 20 kilometers.